Here we go. 6:59 p.m.-ish, sorta, kinda. You know, the red light's on, waiting for the green light's on. Okay, we're live, we're hot, some people are not. Now, I need to warn you, I want to warn you right now that if you're easily offended by racial, sexual, political, or religious rants, then you really don't want to be here tonight. You don't want to be here, I promise you. Go somewhere else on the internet, get off my page, because what I'm about to say is going to offend a lot of you thin-skinned, easily triggered whiners from both sides of the aisle. Be warned, here we go. I'm going to start with our seemingly unceasing, eternal, moronically incessant, unnecessary apology for slavery of the black people. It was a horrible thing. Slavery was terrible. And it happened a long time ago. Black people make up nearly 12.7% of our population. But they receive over 37% of federal and media attention in programs, work incentives, and other propaganda. Yes, slavery was evil. But again, it was a long time ago that blacks were ever slaves in America. And let's not forget places like California, which never had it at all. It was never legal there. Well, take a jump from that to Lyndon Johnson. Went so far as to target blacks in his vision of a great society. It was nothing more than Afrocentrifying a welfare program, and boy oh boy did it blow up in his face, and blowing up in his face, it blew up in our face. Lyndon Johnson, arguably the first black president we ever had, made no excuse for his 90% black welfare program. Since then, well-meaning morons, aka progressives, have taken a strong African American community, strong, and they've devastated it. The African American community for decades was all about hard work, get to work, feed your family, raise your kids, make a life for yourself. It was awesome. Democrats like Lyndon Johnson tore it to pieces with the Great Society. You understand, they've rebuilt the image, the very society of our black Americans into hell itself. Today, violence, laziness, thin-skinned, these have become the hallmarks of the majority of American black society. So much for the late President Johnson's Great Society. That man should have gone to prison just for talking about how he destroyed our African American brothers and sisters on a cultural level. Myriad politicians have advanced equally moronic and baseless apologies through such proposals as, remember this one? Reparations. Right, giving money to black people who may have been related somehow to somebody, who was related somehow to somebody, who was related somehow to somebody, who might have been affected by slavery or even a slave. How the hell that would work is anybody's guess. But you don't just throw money at a problem. Money isn't what it's about. In the burgeoning world of DEI, aka diversity, equity, and inclusion, we've suffered from affirmative action across the board. Again, this affirmative action was in reality a hire blacks at all costs action. It was foisted on government and private industry at all levels. Remember, affirmative action only accomplishes the hiring of people based on their color, while disregarding their education, experience, or abilities. Yeah, does that suck? Yeah, it sucks. Here we are giving special treatment to people who don't need special treatment. Do you understand? A black man or woman is no less qualified for any job, any position, because of his or her skin color or race. Yet government managed to codify this affirmative action, which is systemic racism, favoring black Americans. It's a slap in the face. It's a kick in the nuts to any black American with even an ounce of self-respect. Let's change chapters. Let's go to women. They make up over half of our population. I love women. They're awesome. With the aid of a socialist Democrat propaganda, we've managed to create a man-hating society. TV shows show men in weak positions, women strong. It all adds up to a whole bunch of lesbians in a house trailer who hate men. And it's all the result of socialist communism's propaganda at all levels. You know, you really should read a book called The Darkening by Rob and Laura Petrie. It was available at Amazon. I came across it. You should read it. It tells how we got here. Today, women no longer face the infamous glass ceiling of yesteryear. Rather, that glass ceiling has flipped upside down, and it holds back the futures of men. Government websites such as shecanstem.gov, shecanstem.com, whatever, and others openly celebrate women who are not necessarily worthy of celebration, but they are, drum roll please, women. Gee, who'd have thought? Make me crazy. As with the unfair promotion of black Americans, qualified or not, through DEI, women suffer equally. You know, it's equally a slap in the face of any female American who has even an ounce of self-respect. Unfortunately, as with the black Americans, government has codified this systemic sexism as well. Does it suck? Sure it sucks. What do we got? We covered the black people, what they used to be, what they could be. We've covered women. How about Jewish people? Jews. Okay. Despite comprising about 2.4% of our population, they garner nearly 16% of federal and press attention. Jews have been coddled by all manner of media ever since they gained control of that media in the 1930s. When there's an attack on a Baptist preacher or a Buddhist monk or a Catholic priest, it makes page 6 on the paper and it's buried under the sports scores, okay? Now let it be on a synagogue, a rabbi, or any Jewish person, page 1. Coast to coast, lead story on the news. The media expresses outrage at anti-Semitic acts or violence or speech. Through extensive propaganda, the press and print industry has kept Jewish rights front and center, all the way from the Egyptian slavery all the way through Nazi war crimes. Does it suck? Hell yeah, it sucks, but not as much as this one. LGBTQ plus XYZ, LSMFT, what the hell bullshit. They're supposed to comprise around about 3.9% of our population. It's a dubious figure. I think it's much smaller than that. But still they garner nearly 18% of federal and press attention. Here we go again. This allows sexual deviants very special protections. It even celebrates this abnormal behavior as normal, even natural. Fact, there's nothing normal or natural about it. I could go on forever here, but why? Because you know I'm right. You really need to buy that book, The Darkening, by Rob and Laura Petrie. You can find that on Amazon. It's about $10. I found it an easy read. I polished it off in the morning. I got a lot out of it. I think maybe you will too. But people, you got to get a grip on life. Get a grip on reality. It might be too late already, but I hope it's not.